Hi, I'm Tiffany Coral. This is for EDL 850 Module 1, Personal Information and 3 Levels of Government Control of Public Education. My personal demographics, I am actually from Bedford, Pennsylvania, so I'm not from Kansas. It's a small rural area. I am 26, married. I have a 7-month-old son named Easton and a fur baby Finley. They're both pictured there. Things we enjoy doing are going to the beach. Easton will be taking his first beach trip this summer. We like country music and exploring the outdoors when it's nice. Right now, we're still in winter, so it's still in the 30s or 40s here, but that should be changing within the next month or so. My work background, I work at Chestnut Ridge Middle School. I teach 4th grade math, science, and social studies. Prior to that, at the middle school, I taught alternative education, and my first job was an after-school site coordinator. That is where I really got my want to become an administrator. I did a lot of administrative work in that position. Altogether, I do have 5 years of experience. I know that doesn't sound like a lot compared to some, but I definitely am driven and focused on that administrative role in the future. Some of the other reasons I chose administration, just making a greater impact on the community and students, helping others reach their full potential. And I think my full potential is in an administrative role, and also just further understanding the whole education system in Pennsylvania. It's a very complex system, and I think through administration, I could definitely gain a lot of knowledge from that. To continue, the 3 levels of government that control public education. They're broken down into the local, state, and federal sectors. Locally, I'll start there. They fund anywhere from 40 to 60%, I would say, of public education. They do have a lot of authority that is delegated from the state. Where they have gained that funding is through property tax, and they are the legal entity that is responsible for running the school system. At a state level, they fund approximately 50% of support. They exercise the accountability of running the school systems, and they are the ones that actually create the school districts. At a federal level, they start out funding at about 8% based on if you're Title I, 5, No Child Left Behind, whatever your school district follows or qualifies under, you can actually gain more funding. One of the acts, the Race to the Top and Every Student Success Act, along with the No Child Left Behind of 2001, one of the goals was to reach 100% proficiency rating, which very few schools manage to achieve, but you could actually receive more funding based on your ability to meet expectations or fall into any of those categories. Leadership at the various levels. At a local level, you have your school district school board, and you also have your superintendent, who basically works as a CEO. The only position that I saw that was actually volunteer was the school board. You're an elected official, but you do not get paid. Every other position at a local, state, and federal level is a paid position that I found. At a state level, you have your governors, your state Department of Ed, which is in Pennsylvania we call it PDE, your Pennsylvania Department of Education, and you have jobs that fall under the PD department as well. At a federal level, you have your Department of Education. You have the Secretary of Education, which we all know who that is. You have the Department of Health, Human Services, Head Start program, and the Department of Agriculture school lunch program as well. That's all at a federal level. Some leadership influence. So to break it down, based on the components that are focused on. You have component 6.1 to develop and implement management of school districts. That is, I would say, at the local level, your superintendent and school board. and then they allocate it out farther to your principals and teachers. Component 6.2, that is to develop and to advocate data and driven. The data is definitely more at the federal level, but local um, school districts, they abide by it to receive additional funding. And then component 6.3, to evaluate and implement the laws. That's mostly at a state level, but there are some federal laws um, that drives that. Educational success and supports. At a federal level, there's No Child Left Behind Act that requires um, schools to test students annually in the core subject areas. Um, Doing so, you receive between 8 and 10% of your federal funding. Their goal is to promote student achievement and preparation for global competitiveness by fostering educational excellence and ensuring equal access to education. Some of the key programs also was Title I and Title V. They fund low income schools and also disabled students. One of the Supreme Court rulings that is still in effect today was Brown versus the Board of Education, which basically says that the federal government will step in if there is discrimination. At a state level, they enforce the Common Core standards that we all abide by. And then at a local level, they follow the state and federal regulations through board and district policies. Through all of the reading, I'd say the quote that stood out to me most was education will continue to play a major role in promoting individual opportunity, social mobility, national prosperity, and progress in areas such as health and democratic citizenship. Basically, saying that education is always changing and forever will be, but doing what is best for the education of our citizens to create global learners is ultimately the goal at a federal, state, and local level. And they were my works cited. Thank you.